Hello everybody and welcome to another Smile tutorial. This topic we're covering is all about liquids, the different things you can do with them, how to work with them. Basically I'm going to try to cover everything I know in here and hopefully be able to learn how to do some of the stuff you can do with liquids. So anyway, start off in this hallway. This is the pre-terrain hallway. Statue room's right over here. This is just going to be for test purposes. You can do this pretty much wherever you can use FX1. And that is the first thing to know about liquids. They do use the FX1. So this room obviously starts out with fog normally. So your liquid is going to take place of whatever here, so you can't really combine it with anything else. So that is something to keep in mind with your liquid. We've got three different kinds. We have the lava, the acid, and the water. And they each have slightly different properties, obviously. So let's see what we can get going with this. First thing to note, there is a shortcut for the liquids on your keyboard. You see the room like this. If you hold control, this is the actual height of the liquid in the room. And this only plays into effect with the three liquids we're talking about, the lava, acid, and water. Obviously the fog, it doesn't matter. Let's take a look. See how things are set up. We've got the surface start, surface nudes, they're all Fs, all this other stuff. And we will be getting into these boxes because this is stuff that is specific to liquids we will be using. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But as you can see, this doesn't affect the fog much. If you hold control and then left click on the mouse, that is now your new liquid height level. So let's say we wanted liquid here, put it like that. We'll save that because I'm not. If we go in to test this, you can see fog is still obviously way up there. Does not affect this at all. So that is something to keep in mind. So yeah, that is a very handy shortcut. You can do it between all the different pixels. You can see the height right there. Liquid surface now. You can just see the height like that. So if you ever want to know where it's at in the scroll, there you go. In fact, if I do it just to show this off. So now yeah, that is technically 1 pixel above this tile. If we go in and test this, you will see, first things first, I should actually make this a liquid. That would be kind of important. So we'll just use water for now. Whatever, that's fine. So now we've got our water in this room. Let's see. See, it's technically 1 pixel up, but it doesn't actually reach over top of the tile here. So if you want it right at the even level with the tile, always go to the next scroll block up and smile and do the F pixel in that tile. So that is something to keep in mind. You can also see this little line here between the water and then what's up here. That is an effect from certain palette blends. You could play around with these a lot. You can see the palette blend right here. So we know 62 has that effect. I believe there is a way to get rid of that. I actually don't know that right off the top of my head though. But you can do different palette blends. O2 is the lava palette. Anytime you see lava in the original game, that's the palette that we use. That's what I'm looking for. So water will also use these palette blends. That is something to keep in mind. See, now we've got our lava water. There is no line here because that's not part of this palette blend. So everything above is whatever. Water and lava, you can change the palettes of. Acid is slightly different. If we try acid, you will see it's not quite going to have the same effect. It's yellow color despite us wanting it to be orange. That is because acid doesn't quite use the same pointers and whatever for where it's grabbing its palettes from. It's using the power bomb door palette. And obviously you can repoint things to get that away, and you might possibly be able to repoint it so where it's using the palette blend. But just in the standard game, acid is using your power bomb door palette. So if you want your acid to be the same color, or you want it to be different colors, keep in mind, that you'll be changing your power bomb doors, and sometimes people will get confused with that. Be like, oh, that's a power bomb door? Why is it suddenly green? Well, you want green acid and all this other fun stuff. That's why. Anyway, so let's get back to the water here. Keep it orange because why not? So this is just a quick way to adjust the height, whatever. So you could play around with this and do whatever. Make sure you know your jump height. You can get out of this ledge without gravity or whatever. Make for card weaver and enjoy your suitless. It's just a quick, easy way to do that. And if we go in here, remember this was all FFF originally, which you would think would start way up off the top of the screen. Well, if you do that, you'll see in here, we have no liquid. Water is all gone. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. If you want liquid at the top of your screen, you actually want to do, leave all zeros. If I get that over here. So if you just want liquid filling the room, just do zeros, not Fs. Excuse me. There are more things in here to play with, and this will work with acid and lava as well. These two options here, the tide large and tide small, this is going to give your liquid some movement. You can also do the flow left option here. This is going to give your liquid some movement. Right now, if we go back in, we can see our liquid is just sitting there. There's really nothing in there we can give it any movement. So, these are pretty self-explanatory. Flow left, it flows left. Tide large and small, these gives it different tides. If you want to see the exact height to put these, or at least one of them, I forget which one it is. If you go to Meridian, in fact, let's go ahead and go there. Let me see if this has. Okay, so this has a surface start at 10. If we go here, for tide small. This is actually kind of important for a couple of reasons. Basically, if your liquid goes off the top of the ceiling, it will disappear until it scrolls back down and it'll suddenly flood the room again. This is used in quite a few hacks, and it is something you can do. There are some interesting things you can do with that. You can surprise people with sudden lava baths or something. But so for small tide, if you just want the liquid in the room, they won't see the water come down because it's only 10 pixels beneath the top. You can't see up there in the screen. That's where the HUD is covering. So the liquid will start there, and then the tide small, it'll go up top, but it won't go off the screen. So you'll have this movement in this room, but you won't have your liquid suddenly disappearing. You can kind of see up on the pink tiles above the door, the green tiles. You can see the water going up and down slightly there. So that just adds some movement, and it keeps the liquid without going off the screen. You can do the same thing with the large tide. And I need to see if I can find out what room I was in again. Oh, it wasn't this one, but that's okay. Close enough. So we could do things like that. I'm gonna test it out, make sure it all works. Small tide. And we'll jump here. Well, that's acid, but kind of see how it's just going up and down. It's not going off the screen. So to demonstrate the other options, let's do a large tide, and we'll use acid to more thoroughly demonstrate this. So it's up top the screen. It comes back down beneath the room boundary. So then it appears, goes up above the room boundary, and it disappears. So this is something obviously you can do. Kind of weird to suddenly have this come in on the screen, but you know, it's an option. You can use it for things like this, where you know it's kind of timed, but they're not under the liquid the whole time. So I don't know. You can play around with this with the different liquids. This works with all three. So that's something you can do. It's kind of fun. You can mess around with stuff like that. Let's actually take it off. That. Something to note. Let me get this over here. We'll do a small tide. And we're going to put the liquid there. And you know what? We'll change. Just for fun, let's see what we can come up with. Let's try A. You can mess with this all you want, it won't hurt anything. So let's see what this does. Oh wow, that's a hideous palette. Also, that lava's not actually going down far enough. But another thing to note with this, with lava, you hear that sort of Metroid sound going off in the game right there. With lava, because it actually makes noises, that bubbling noises, if it's not with the right music, it will play these Metroid sounds because that's the noise it's trying to play. And if it was in the right music, it would be playing the more bubbly sound and not so much the Metroid sound. So that's another effect of lava. Obviously this is a terrible palette blend as well. But that's not actually where I want it to be. Let's put it... Let's do it there. Okay, so this is good enough. So here's an effect only lava has. You cannot run in this. As soon as it catches you, you see you slow down. As soon as you're out, you run fast again. It's just something lava does. That is also something you can fix with some other stuff. Which again, you'll have to look that up. Just be aware, lava is basically trying to run through mud for Samus. Acid and water, if you have gravity suit, doesn't even matter. Lava will still stick you. You actually run faster in lava if you de-equip Speed Booster than having Speed Booster on. So that is something to be aware of. You know what, let's try some new things with liquid. So we've got all this. Cascade heat works with lava and acid. And actually, let me change this palette blend to something hopefully less garishly bad. Let's try 23. I don't know what this is. We'll see. It'll probably be worse. Hey, that's not the worst. But with the background warp cascade heat thing on, obviously, now your background is all wavy and whatever because the heat. You obviously see that in Warfare more because it's a heated area and whatnot. So that is something else Liquid does. You can get this effect without having acid or lava in the room. Well, you need acid or lava for that effect to work. But you can just make you make this surface start all Fs again. Have no tide, whatever. And then your background will be all wavy and heated without actually having the liquid in the room. Obviously the palette blend's still in effect, but so that's how you would get that without the liquid. So you can still use the wavy effect if you want to. Be careful if you do a lot of layering because obviously it only makes the background wavy. So if you were laying something over top of this and then behind this, you know, something over here would be wavy and the other piece over here would be wavy. It would look wrong. So be careful with that. If you're doing layering anyway. So now let's do some fun stuff. Now if you notice, in this room, it's always filled with liquid, but you can run through here just fine. Except when you break the tube, suddenly you're underwater, which, you know, makes sense logically. But in terms of the game, the liquid is always there. You're technically under the liquid. But this BG Warp Line Shift does something else besides a different wavy effect. This is what allows you to run through the liquid unhindered. Let's try this. Let's see what happens if I try this. And let's take off. Okay. So I am moving underwater, unhindered now. I don't have my gravity suit equipped. This water does not affect me. Basically, the BG Warp Line Shift, you can see my background's not wavy because it's not acid or lava. But the background Warp Line Shift allows you to have free movement in liquid. Not a problem. It just basically the gravity effects aren't there anymore. Because basically you can make a third layer if you wanted to. Let me see. Actually, some of these A and B bits also used a lot with the FX1. Okay, yeah. You can kind of use it for an effect as a third background. It's basically, you see it, it's appearing behind layer 1, appears in front of layer 2. Now it's kind of weird right now because it's appearing in front of Samus as well. So I believe there is a bit somewhere in here where it also appears behind the sprite layer and layer 1. There we go. This should probably be it. Okay, yeah, there we go. So that's the bit you want. And you can use the BG Warp Line Shift. You can kind of make it look like waves in the background or whatever. It won't affect, with the BG Warp Line Shift, the water won't affect the gravity, so it's completely rendered harmless in terms of gameplay, anything like that. You could do whatever. And you kind of have a third layer going on with that. Kind of creates more of a visual interest, even if that visual looks pretty hideous right now, but it's okay. We're just showing things off right now. So you can do all kinds of things with that. There are also, I want to show this off because this works great with a lot of the flashy glowy stuff in Criteria. This is basically what started Fear, was these two bits and flashy glowy things. One of them makes layer 2 completely invisible. I don't remember if it's this one or the other one. Okay, it must be the other one. Obviously the palette in this room, way different. You can kind of see in the line here where the palette would be sort of normal. It's not quite normal, but it's closer. And you can see it very different. It basically inverts color, sort of. It makes for very interesting effects. And with the right palette blends, plenty of flashy glowy stuff. In fact, let's not do that. Let's see if anything in here uses this stuff. Let's see what happens. So you can kind of, oh my goodness, I'm going to put a seizure warning on this. But you can kind of see how the flashy stuff with the liquid, you know, it's a blue liquid. It's technically an orange liquid. We just have the glow on it. And this is basically how Fear started, was playing around with this stuff. And I was like, oh, that looks really cool underwater and all that other fun stuff. So you can see the background in this one. I believe it must be the other one. Number 16 on the B bit here. If you do this one, it's the same effect, except now your background's gone. So just keep that in mind. This is actually not quite the same effect. The background is still there. Against black, the background is gone, but it does show up through some transparencies. You can kind of see the bricks up on the wall. That's actually interesting. I never noticed that before. So yeah, you can see the bricks scrolling against the flashy thing, sort of. And up through the ceiling. That is actually really interesting. Fear 2.0 incoming. Okay, so I guess 16 you have more of a transparent background. It just doesn't show up against solid black, obviously. Okay. So for this final bit with liquid and stuff, I've opened up Fear here to show this off. Basically, with these 4 boxes, this is telling it what we want to do, what we want our liquid to do. So we've got our surface start, which I've got set right there. That's where the liquid starts when they first enter the room, which equates to that number right there. Our surface knew we wanted to go, or I wanted to go 1 pixel from the top. So I'll go pretty much right up there. This is how fast the liquid will be rising in the room. And then here's the initial delay. This is in frames, I believe. So the max you can delay a liquid from rising is 255 with FF. I have it delayed 28 frames. So what this is doing is telling the room, you know, we want this to go up here, delay at a certain point, but that's how fast otherwise I want it to get up here. And so when you set it up like that, we enter the room here. You can see, actually, let me just go back and we'll come back through. Yes, all these have rising acid. So you can see the initial delay from the acid, and then that's how fast it is going up. Got that much time to get out, otherwise they're having fun. And then when it's finished, you'll notice the screen stops shaking and all that other fun stuff. The screen will shake. It's kind of letting the player know, oh, there's something going on, I should go do it. So that is how you would do something like that. This should work with all the liquids. So you can have your rising water, your rising acid, your rising lava, you can do it the other way as well. Put this over here. I have it starting out up here. I have a delay set for a frame. I believe you do need a delay. You might not, but I have it set for a frame for some reason. So that might be a possibility. You absolutely need that. And then I have it going all the way down. You can have it rise up to a certain point. You can also have it lower down to a certain point. My Speed Boost Escape and Fear was where I was trying to play around with all this and figure this stuff out. Which again, I've got speed set up for a very specific reason. And this room is actually not seeing for some reason. Kind of interesting. But going in here, I had it set up so you kind of slowly catch up to it. There's the ground. Oh, there's the ground. Right before you catch up to it. So I was playing around with stuff like that. You can play around with things that are similar to that. But basically, the parameters you need in these 4 boxes for either rising or lowering. You need the start point, and depending on whether you're rising or lowering, you need it somewhere toward the top or somewhere toward the bottom, or maybe you're doing something in the middle. You can play around and figure that stuff out. You need to set the new point where it's going to. Now, if you don't want to calculate that exactly in your head or whatever, keep testing until you do, you can do the hold control, click where you want your final level. It will show you up here. In fact, let me... So that would be the digit you put in there. So that's an easier way to do it, I would say. So hopefully this kind of disjointed, weird overview of the acid, water, and lava thing, hopefully that helped you out a little bit. That's basically all there is to this tutorial, which wasn't much of a tutorial, but you know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something and be able to plug in liquids and do some interesting things with them or hacks in the future. And we will see you in the next tutorial.